we can have, some things could be that some of us may be a little bit above, or God may have strengthened us enough to be strong in that area. But this right here, this spiritual warfare, this is something that none of us is above. And I say that because every one of us in here deal with this daily. Nobody is above, nobody is stronger, but the thing about it is some of us acknowledge it differently, and we know what we're looking at to the point. We know what we're looking at to the point where when we see things, we recognize things, we know how to deal with it. So this spiritual warfare, man, is something that we're going to have to deal with, I feel like, as long as we're on this earth. As long as we're in this carnal body, this is something that we have to deal with. And I'm going to say this. If you don't get it the first time, you're going to keep on going through it until you get it. And that's just in one area. But the thing, what we can do in this one area that we learn in, we can apply the same techniques to the next time. Because we're going to have to deal with different darts. I'm not going to split some of the darts. Some of the darts could be women, some of the darts could be money, some of the darts could be drugs. All of these things that we deal with, that we fight against daily, is a part of the spiritual warfare. So that was just an introduction to this morning lesson. We're going to be reading out of the book of Romans, chapter 7, verses 24 through 25. We're going to spend some time there.
908.
We finna be doing some reading, Joe, so I want everybody to follow. This is not a hard read. It's not a lot of thous and days and do's and all that. But what we read is talking directly to all of us, Joe. So I want y'all to pay attention as we read and read along with it and actually get what's being said, because I know it's going to speak and spark something inside of us. This morning is just not about me talking or me doing meditation. If y'all got something to say, please add it, because you're going to feel something. This is not one of the scriptures that you just read and just go through, because it's talking to all of us. Because all of us, we had choices and decisions that we need to make this morning. Whether you believe it's a spiritual warfare or not, that's up to you. Well, before we get off into the scripture, I want to just try to paint a picture real quick about how this spiritual warfare is real and it's important, and it's just not no...
You said Romans what again? My
7.
bad. 908.
It's on the 14 and 25. It's just not something that Christians go through or nothing like that. No. Some of us see things differently. How Pedro shared this story with us yesterday, some people laughed at it, but man, I felt where he was coming from, because even though he may deliver it kind of in a funny manner, but it was all the way serious, it was all the way for real. But what I want to point out is, I don't know if how many of y'all may have seen this before, but in the cartoons, I was sure they used to have cartoons, and the cartoon character would be doing something or be about to do something, and a little devil or somebody would pop up on his shoulder. You know what I'm saying? You see that? Y'all know what I'm talking about? But then at the same time, another one will pop up on his shoulder. So telling him to do something. So the cartoons, they just didn't have them cartoons for nothing in some senses. You know what I'm saying? They made a lot of sense. They had some type of meat on them if you knew what you was looking at. So I want to just use that to give y'all an example of how real it really is. We actually have things coming at us and coming against us, trying to ease us to do things, or sometimes it might be straight out to do it. But it's up to you which one, what you're going to listen to, what you're going to give it to, that simple nature, or you're going to feed your godly nature. And it's choices and decisions got to be made. I just want to paint that picture, man, because the spiritual battle, the spiritual warfare, it could be the difference in our salvation. It could be the difference in the way we live our lives. It could be the difference on how we handle each situation that we face daily. I promise you, because it's a choice you got to make at the end of the day. So let's get into these scriptures, man, because I want y'all undivided attention on this, because we got to read it and see what's going on. And then once we do that, we're going to go back over. We're going to chop it up, we're going to break these scriptures down. A couple of them a little bit more powerful than others, but they all have significance. So they all have their place, they all have their role. I'm going to start reading. It says, so, the trouble is not with the law, for it is spiritual and good. The trouble is with me. So the trouble is not with the law, for it is spiritual and good. The trouble is with me, for I am all too human a slave to sin. I don't really understand myself for I want to do what is right, but I don't do it. Instead, I do what I hate. But if I know, that what I am doing is wrong, this shows that I agree that the law is good. So I am not the one doing wrong. It is sin living in me that does it. And I know that nothing good lives in me, that is, in my sinful nature. I want to do what is right, but I can't. I want to do what is good, but I don't. I don't want to do what is wrong, but I do it anyway. But if I do what I don't want to do, I am not really the one doing wrong. It is the sin living in me that does it. I have discovered this principle of life, that when I want to do what is right, I inevitably do what is wrong. I love God's law with all my heart, but there is another power within me that is at war with my mind. This power makes me a slave to the sin that is still within me. Oh, what a miserable person I am. Who will free me from this life that is dominated by sin and death? Thank God, the answer is in Jesus Christ our Lord. So you see how it is. In my mind, I really want to obey God's law, but because of my sinful nature, I am a slave to sin. I am a slave to sin. That's crazy, man. But does everybody got a clear understanding of what's been said, what was said, what was read right there?
Basically.
Give me an account. I want to hear a couple of y'all accounts on how y'all feel about that, what we just read. I want to make sure y'all got an understanding of what's being said. Go ahead.
Basically gonna do right, but some gonna be back to do wrong.
I'm not sure.
It kind of made me think about when they do
it kind of made me think about when they, like, you know, like the song when they say break every chain. You know, it's like we locked up doing sin. That's how I see it. We a slave to sin. We in chains.
You a slave to sin in chains?
Yeah. Break every chain, though. We gotta break the chain.
Saying that his life gonna be they life without sins, so they can get away with doing sinful things to their life.
In a sense, but it's kind of a bigger thing. To me, when I read it, it's like a person that's struggling, a person that want to do right, a person that want to make every step in the world to do what's best, but it's still the things that's putting on him that he want to do is what he keep doing. The things that give us the pleasure, the things that we ultimately know it's not right. Those are things that we keep on doing, knowing that it's not right, and knowing that I want to do good. That's why it's a battle. That's why it's a warfare. It's not necessarily a warfare because of the things that's going on around us, but what's going on inside of us. You see what I'm saying? It's the battle within us, within ourselves, the good and the bad. We want to do good and not doing good, or we want to do good and doing good, but still doing the things that I know I shouldn't be doing. It's a battle.
You don't think you got to do something wrong just to get that?
Ooh-wee. I don't want to encourage you to do nothing wrong. But in life, you will have tribulation. And that's when you learn from these things. When you go through, I'm not telling you to go out and do nothing wrong, but when something do happen, when something do come along, this is where you learn from it. This is where you learn. And if you don't get the lesson, then you're going to keep going through it until you get it, like I had mentioned earlier. You see what I'm saying? So it's not the point of you just going out and seeking to do wrong. Because at some point in life, sometimes something gonna happen. Something gonna rear its head where you're gonna have to make a choice, make a decision. So not by any means will I tell you, man, go out there and poke them people on the corner. Hell no, I ain't gonna tell you no stuff like that. But when things do come up, you got to see what you got to do. You got to make that choice and decision. That's why it's a battle. That's why it's a warfare. If it wasn't, then you didn't do what you want to do. That's why I said in some of these chapters earlier to this, if the law was never presented, then the things that I do, I would know that was wrong. I would have never known that sticking up somebody or killing somebody was wrong if there wasn't a law against it. You see what I'm saying? But before we go off into these scriptures a little bit further, I just want to say that, man, everybody in here today has shown the ability to do right. You show, by being here, you guys show that y'all want to do some good. But at the same time, some of y'all have displayed the intent to do bad things as well. I mean, whether it's from trying to duck out on work, or even bringing a pipe to the campus. Now just think about that for a minute, man. Bringing a gun on the campus. It's a battle. It's a warfare, and that's what posed this question. Before we go further as well, why do we do the things that we do? This is a question not necessary to be answered right now, but just take it with you and think about it today. Why do we do the things that we do? I don't know why you do it. It could be, it's not a question right now. You got to think about that to yourself. Why do you do the things you do? What influences you to do the things you do? What was the answer? You said the world we live in. I think that's a legit answer. Yeah, consider the world that we live in. But what I think about, once you identify what we're doing here, is identifying. So we identify that the world we live in is jacked up. Now I can be in the world without it. I can be in the world, but not of the world. Because I was in the world, we all was in the world, and we was in it. And once I found something new, once I learned something else, once I saw it was a different way to do things, and it made me feel better, it made me look at treat people better, it made my family respond to me better, I wanted to do that. See what I'm saying? My world changed. My world did. Not the outside world ain't gonna change, but my world changed because I made a conscious decision. See what I'm saying? And that ain't gonna never stop. So if you continue to think that I will just do what the world do, you in the world of trouble. Because that ain't gonna stop. You feel me? What we gotta do, we gotta make conscious decisions. And I think that's a great question. Well, I don't know what we're considering. We don't. We definitely chop it up about it because that's what it's about. I want everybody to get it, understand, not just y'all. I need help with this too. You know what I'm saying? This is a battle, like I said in the beginning, that we all deal with. This something that everybody in here has to deal with daily, man. And what gives an individual the leverage is being able to recognize it and being able to identify this, what we're looking at and what we're seeing. And ultimately acknowledging it. Because if you just think it's blowback, then it's what it's going to be. So do you want to go around and propose a question? No, I wouldn't even say that. What I say is, apply what you know, bro. That's why we unique. That's why ain't nothing that this world got for you can really destroy you with God and Jesus Christ. And y'all don't even know the powers and the mind that y'all got. I'm telling you, people don't think like y'all think. Ain't experienced what y'all experience. That's why when we go other places, they know that you from somewhere else. Because your observation, your surveillance, your attentiveness, your awareness, you apply to stay alive out there. But you want to apply to save your soul. See what I'm saying? Because we just, I don't know, it's like, we know we're gonna die, and in our mind we think it's a set date, but you don't know the date. There's two roads. You can go down this road or that road. Both of them got a date. And I don't think that they the same. same book. This is what we're going to dwell here for a while. Verse 15 reads, I don't really understand myself for I want to do what is right, but I don't do it. Instead, I do what I hate. Oh. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to read a couple more times. He wants to go, want his brother to hear it also. And that's what I'm saying. And I know it touched somebody. Speak up too, bro, because everybody in here has a voice. So it's just not about this. We build it. We're trying to get each other better. The mountain man's game is iron sharper iron. You know what I'm saying? We're only going to be as sharp as our brothers that's next to us. So we feed off each other. We grow and we learn off each other. So we want to go back. We're doing something. It says, I don't really understand myself, first and foremost. For I want to do what is right, but I don't do it. Instead, I do what I hate. Anybody want to say anything to that before I go? Come on. Speak up. Speak up. What the fear of going right come from? What the scared of going right come from? Something loose. So that go back to what they were saying. It's a habit. But we are people that.
Yeah, it could be the people around you too.
So what?
It could be the people around you.
People around you what?
Like, say you want to do right, but the people around you doing stuff.
Yeah, I get you. And that's why the first steps to doing differently is changing your environment, changing who you with, you know what I'm saying, changing the place you go, the people, places, and things, all that it plays a part as well. And I want to just touch on the understanding part. I don't really understand myself. Once again, it starts within. It is the environment and things around you, circumstances around you, but in the beginning it says, I don't really understand myself. And that's what it is right there. We still suffering from identity, a lack of identity in a sense. Because if not, what somebody else is doing really wouldn't affect our actions. So, understanding who you are, being confident in who you are. Yes, we have some we're not perfect, we have setbacks, we have shortcomings, we not be as smart, we might not be as smart over here, we might not do this as well. But that's still nonetheless doesn't diminish who you are as a person. You are still a black young man with all the potential in the world. So being confident and understanding who you are will ultimately help those situations and help you make the right choices when you are influenced from the outside. Knowing who you are, understanding, having a good understanding of who you are as a person, as an individual, will help us make the choices and decisions that we need to make. Because if you shaky in who you are as an individual, somebody can easily come up and tell you, come on, let's go ahead and do that. But if you standing strong about who you are as a person, then can't nobody just tell you to come on, let's do this.
Yeah, all right. I'm trying to call it now. You come on with me. But I admit to that.
So when you lead them to them?
See, I don't do it no more. I'm just saying, like.
Okay, but you still got the influence, and they're supposed to be here. You're supposed to have some more gas here. Yeah. You the shot caller now, your influence and who you are, you understanding who you are as an individual, knowing you have the influence with them, you should be influencing them to do better and not the street stuff. Because you doing it now. And eventually, once they see you for real about it and you really in, they're going to start coming in. And this will make your job easier. But it first comes with what he said, understanding who you are. He said he don't understand himself. And a lot of us don't understand ourselves because sometimes we don't know why we do the things that we do. If we understood who we were and we knew who we were wholeheartedly, we wouldn't do half of the stuff we do, man. But it's about it. Go ahead.
Say we do what we do, like the things we do it because I say the reason why we do the things we do is because it's easier. You know, like it's easy to do bad. It's easy to pick up a gun. It's easy to just fight and all that. It's hard to be like, you know, like being a good person, and, you know, greeting people when they come in and, you know, doing the right things. It's hard to do that stuff. So we like, it's like because it's so easy to do bad, that's the way we go. Like, man, that take too much energy, or, you know, just out of my day just trying to be this right person. This don't take that much energy to do all this bad stuff. I could just do it and it's fun at that.
But it does when you think about it. Because that was bad response and that being bad, that other stuff come with it.
Yeah, but we ain't thinking about that at the moment. We just thinking about what's happening right then and there. We ain't thinking about like, especially like when you first start, it's like once you start something and then you see the consequences later, and if you make it through it, it's like your adrenaline be rushing. And you be like, oh, I got away with that. You do it again, and it be like, it be fun. It be fun for a while.
Scooter, tell him I think I calmed down. And he been around me a long time. He even told me like, man, you calm down a lot. You be hot, super hot. Cause I'm loud, Scooter.
No, keep moving. That's what it's about. And the speaking you said, it is like that. You apprehensive the first time before you do it. That's even with cheating.
Yeah.
Or bringing somebody somewhere that you know you got no business doing. It's at the first you're apprehensive, you damn nervous, you wonder what's going on. But you do it, you get away with it, you're adrenaline rush. Oh, now you want to touch it. Or even you just beat the case.
Yeah.
I just beat the murder. They can't stop me, woo woo. Man, you finna come back and turn it up. You see something more. You see what I'm saying? But at the end, it's gonna all catch up. It does. Seems easier as you go, it progresses, it gets fun, however you want to put it, but that's that road into death in the long run, and it leads to heartache, despair, anger, all that stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? Every bad spirit that you could possibly imagine, that's what comes with it because you're doing nothing good from it. Ain't nothing good come from that. Well, man, can I say something real quick? But I want to challenge you. Because I hear that a lot. I'm different. I calm down for the reason I was tapping shit.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I said, this is what I'm not. That's a different turn down that we talking about. See, you self-preservation the first law of nature. So you sat in the county 3.5 years, you either gonna come out a nut or you gonna slow down a little bit. Yeah. Ain't no in between. You see what I'm saying? So now you doing what you're doing to stay free from bondage of prison, jail, shot, and police. But all we asking for is to do right for him. See, because you're doing it for yourself. It's a trap. See, now that you're doing it for yourself and focused only on yourself, you back in sin. You ain't doing it for God. It's vanity. You see what I'm saying? We gotta get above this flex, this world standard that's on us. Because if we don't, just slow down for yourself. That ain't gonna do nothing. That don't keep you physically out of prison. But what about that bondage in your mind? What about that? I drink all night and can't stay up at work tomorrow. Let's identify why I do that. See, because you couldn't do it 3.5 years in the county. So the taste would have been gone. Why do I do that? What am I trying to cope with? Is it that I still want to do these things? Is it that I'm afraid to tell my guys I'm good? So if I get slapped, I'm slapped. I gotta let it down. They ain't gonna bother me. What's going on in that? And remember, it's not a threat, it's a challenge, you know what I'm saying? And it's a challenge to get us to understand what we're looking at and see why we're in the condition that we're in. And not only that, but to come out of it safely. just to read and to touch with this, it's in the same chapter, it's verse 18. It says, and I know that nothing good lives in me, that is, in my sinful nature. What I want to do, I want to do what is right, but I can't. I want to do what is good, but I don't. I don't want to do what is wrong, but I do it anyway. That's crazy. That's the battle right there.
That's the battle. Because we can play stuff. It's like, because I know forget it. I ain't no gangbang shooter no more. And I'm a drug dealer. Right? Money was never my aim before. That ain't what I was about. I was about the business. But I got caught for the business. Went to the jail. Did all that time. I can't do that part no more. I can do this part. This part is easier. It's less computational. And I'm getting somebody. See, I replaced that with some more. But to us, it's a change. But to God, it's the same. Sin is sin. Regardless what the sin is, this is how we know we're all in the same boat. And none of us know different. Because I got some other sins and other stuff I got to deal with now that I identified that. All right, cool, I don't kill, I don't sell drugs anymore. But what about all the fornication? What about all the lying? What about all that?
That's in our sinful nature.
What,
You see what I'm saying?
What other things I got besides the spiritual nature? That's what we're trying to get to.
Exactly.
This is good in there, but that's Christ. So it's man.
But it's that thing, though, right? Identify that you in a warfare. And when I don't understand, when I don't understand, I'm in a war, right? Spiritual warfare. I'm in a spiritual war. I just see less evil. Yeah, I just see. All I do is the lesser evil. Yeah. So it's from the bang to the drug dealer to the scamming to the whatever. I just take it to the lesser evil. Which one is not going to get me in the same trouble I was in last time? And so I break it down. But I'm still never identifying that there's a war that's going on in me that I need to stand against. And if I don't stand against, and if I don't understand that God is the one that's going to help me in the war that I'm fighting, that's invisible, I can't see, then I continue in my sin. That's why he said I'm a slave to sin. He said that. The trouble is with me. And then he said, I don't really understand myself. Then he said, I want to do good, but I can't do good. And so those are all the things that you go through when you don't understand that you in a war. Because you try to figure it out yourself. And that's what the devil wants you to do. He wants you to figure this whole thing out yourself. And it's impossible. You cannot figure nothing out without God. You can't live in the world that God created without God. Point blank period.
And I don't want nobody to feel inadequate or ashamed or down or bad. None of that, because we all have things that we deal with, that we struggle with. It's a warfare, bro. And how we said at the beginning, it's just not you. It's everybody here that got something that they're dealing with, got something that they're fighting with, they got something they're battling with. So don't feel like you less of because you got something that you're dealing with. And some of us just got a little bit more. You'll be surprised who probably got more than you. You thinking you going through something, but bro, it's nothing that didn't went through it. And if not, we can go get somebody who has. So it's nothing that you're going through and experiencing that you should be ashamed of or that you should be afraid to discuss, because what we're trying to do is identify these things and find a solution to deal with them. Because if we just holding them in, we're going to explode eventually.
back and do it, the conviction be worse. Like, that's what keep me convicted. If I ain't praying, if I ain't even have a thought of the Holy Spirit, like, I won't be convicted about it. The more I try to stop, and then when I go back, every time I get more conviction, so eventually I'm gonna stop. You see what I'm saying? Eventually I'm gonna go back. You know what I'm saying? Because it kills me more and more every time. You know what I'm saying?
It's definitely the conviction of it, and after a while, it's gonna become less and less.
Right.
Like you say, it's gonna become less, and you don't want to do it because you get tired of not only having to keep back and repent and asking God for forgiveness. You're gonna get tired of doing it, man. It's gonna get up off you eventually. You know what I'm saying? It takes some of us longer than others, but knowing what you're facing, at least it'll give you a better chance than not knowing what you're facing, because a lot of us didn't know what was going on. But now that we do, we have a better idea now, so it shouldn't take us as long as it should take us as long as it might have without the information that we get now. And putting something else inside of us to pull from. We all know what's right, we know right from wrong through the door. But at the same time, like you say, it's that better things that I don't want to do, I still end up doing. Why? Because you ain't nothing. Ain't nothing else nothing. So don't let nobody come down to you telling me, oh, I'm all holy to die. Yeah, it is. It's hard to walk around all day with that pompous attitude and all that, and like you a damn Catholic and say, oh, hi. Yeah, I feel like that's a show. Because you can't tell me every day you got them just like this, like a sissy or something. You just always has, no, that's not how that really go in real life with me. We wake up to something every day. We go to sleep to something every day. Some of us go to sleep and wake up to gunshots. I can't wake up every morning, goddamn it, just up and up. I got to pray first. I got to get up there. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not happy go love y'all damn. That's not how it is. That's not reality. So I'm not trying to tell y'all to just move like that. But when your intentions and your heart is good, you're going to move like that anyway. You won't have to walk around all day with a smile on your face to be a good dude or to be a nice person or to be thankful or mindful of others. You don't, because I don't. But I am mindful of others though. And I do love other people who I don't even know. So that's just how it goes. But at the same time, there's still things that we got to deal with. It's just wanting to do the things that we know is right. And doing the things that's wrong, knowing they're wrong, but doing them anyway. Like Quinn said, that's the battle. We know right from wrong. I don't want to go to any scenarios out there because we done heard a lot of them. We know them all already. It's like a broken record. We know what we're doing and what we know what we're not doing. I'm not convicting nobody because I'm guilty of it my damn self. But it's about understanding it's about. But what I'm trying to do is lessen whatever I am, but I know what we need. Whether it's my attitude, my stubbornness, whatever the case may be. Because it's just not always the big things, it's just not always the guns, it's not always the drugs. It's some of the smaller things too. The Bible says that it's the small foxes that destroy the vine. Meaning the small little things that's coming through and putting holes here, putting holes there, and destroying the vine. Not the big things that's going to come to pull the whole vineyard up. It's the small foxes. You know, the small foxes are the little things that we don't necessarily deal with.
I feel like why a lot of us do what we do is because a lot of stuff is like feeling based, and like once you feel a certain type of way about something, like for one, you ain't gonna let nobody disrespect you in any kind of way. That's one. And then for two, like if you feel wronged or whatever, like you just feel like, oh, alright, you can get my lick back, essentially. So like, I don't know. I think that's like us being like, well, I wouldn't say emotional, but like just feeling some type of way. For instance, like if somebody go hit your homie or something, like, yeah, alright, come on, we gonna get him back. Or if your girl cheat on you or something, you like, oh, alright, cool, let's step off. But like, that don't make it right. But then again, it's like, alright, cool. So somebody can feel how I feel. So I think that's why some of us do it.
You quoted like 5 different things. Like these thoughts and these sayings and these principles, where they all come from. And that's come back to what we said earlier, about our environment in the way of the world.
But also, see, don't speak for us. can't speak for us. You can speak for you.
Yeah. That's what I'm
Something
speaking.
like, hold on. See, because you got to talk, you started with how you feel, but then you made it us thing. We feel like that maybe we do this like that. Speak for you. See, when you speak for you, now you're dealing in truth. See, when you speak for everybody else, you're speaking in general. See, we can speak in general about being seen. That's general. We all got issues. Speak for you and how you feel and how you do things. That's important. It's very important that you do that. You got to be able to identify with, I don't understand myself. That's where it started at, right? That's what we gotta always begin. Because if we keep looking out at everybody else and we all in this bubble together, it's all good. I ain't necessarily gotta change. But if I identify these things that's in me, alone, solo dolo, came here by myself, don't leave by myself. Now it's self-checking I gotta do. You lighten the blow when you bring everybody in. And one other thing is, this book been wrote, however you want to believe it. We know it's older than 200 years, 300 years. We know it was back in slavery, that was 400 years. We know these things. How, when that world was all the way different, that they was experiencing the same things that we experience? How does this make sense still today?
That's the first question.
No, it was just. It's just something to put on your mind.
But Deacon, you got something to say? You want to say?
Yeah. His interesting thing in history don't do nothing with the pizza. That's it.
No, I say.
No,
But there's somebody in here that is something else in this world. See, you right. But there's somebody else that broke some chains in here. And some other results came. See, so you gotta take the whole thing, not just the piece. Eat the whole thing. Feel me?
21 says, I have discovered this principle of life, that when I want to do what is right, I inevitably do what is wrong. I love God's law with all my heart, but there is another power within me that is at war within my mind. This power makes me a slave to the sin that is still within me.
Can I read this out of King James? Verse 21. Verse 21 of the King James says, I find then a law that when I do good, evil is present with me. So even when I do good, evil is present with me. This is why we gotta always keep our eyes on the prize. Because it's easy, bro. It's real easy to begin to think that it's you doing good. And once you think that it's you doing good, it's an exam. An exam.
So y'all saying y'all ain't never questioned God, like, why he did like a certain thing?
Yeah, I did.
Look, I just went to a funeral like a couple weeks ago. He was a deacon of the church. He just beat cancer. He did everything with the word said. Turn around and pass again, catch cancer again. So what's to it? You know what I'm saying? You take the innocent, you know what I'm saying? But everybody that do it all the time, that's what I'm doing.
That's what it looked like.
That's what it is.
No, that's what it looked like. See, God, that's what we talking about this last week. We talking about this last week, and I understand you, bro. Don't get me wrong. I can feel it. My mama did have cancer. Possibly do it. Right? But it ain't about this. It's what you gotta understand. We all getting up out of here. That ain't what God ain't after your flesh. God ain't after healing in your cancer. That ain't what God after. That ain't what that's about. Can he? Sure. Has he? I'm sure he has. But that ain't what he after. What he after is your soul, your spirit. Get that right. So when this gone anyway, you can rest assured ain't nobody gonna live past 125. So everybody getting up out of here. He want to heal your soul. He want to heal your spirit. So now you can be at peace with this. And then that side, I'm telling you, she passed that piece to me. She passed it on love, which resonated through the whole family. You feel it? It ain't about the cancer walk. He gonna die. Is it gonna be cancer that kill him? Who knows? Whatever gonna kill him, he gonna die.
And if he's the right standing with God, he will.
This is what you gotta understand.
That's the important part. And even knowing that evil is always present, even when we're trying to do good, I really feel like that's what gives us the capacity to have even more grace and even more mercy. So our brethren that's dealing with things and going through stuff and battling with uncertainty or battling with trusting, just give us the patience to help deal with it, because we understand the fact that we acknowledge the fact that, man, it's not an easy thing to do. It's hard to question or to give you an answer to that question, bro, when these things are happening and we seeing them daily. So, I mean, knowing that it's a warfare, it's a battle going on, this gives us the confidence to be able to stand still and trust God, because we don't know everything. We can't give you the answer, or I can't give you the answer to every question that you might have, because I still have some unanswered questions that nobody answered for me yet. And God, I'm waiting for God to reveal it to me, but it's a battle, man. It's not an easy thing to do. I'm not sitting here trying to tell y'all to get this right now today and grasp it. No, because I know it ain't an easy thing to do. There's something that goes on and goes on. This is an experience. It's a journey, bro. We're going to have to get this through experiences, like one of the brothers said earlier. You're going to have to experience different things and go through different things to like really get it. And this person still, we can see somebody else doing it and all that, and have a way and feel some type of way about somebody else doing it, but until we do it, like have to go through that experience ourselves, that's when we're going to really get that right understanding. That's when we're going to really feel the presence and knowing and the security and the safety in God's word. You got to get that. You can't get it from the outside influence. You can get encouragement from others, or you can become discouraged by other things you see around you. But it's only when that personal relationship set in, bro, that you're really gonna grasp it completely. Because I done been to all type of church services and heard everybody say all this, that, and that. But until I got serious about what I wanted to do, and
we are the man of the Martha Redemption Project. We cannot redeem our families and our community. We first redeem ourselves. Therefore, our message to invest in the mind, body, and spirit, so we may repair and build our city one life at a time.